we have a new rumor that every Tesla stock investor should be aware of. Sawyer Merritt says on Twitter, a Chinese publication, Sina Finance, is reporting via industry insiders that Tesla is planning a grand production capacity map for its new low-cost model. That's probably the next generation vehicle. This low-cost model is a small Model Y. Tesla is building an annual capacity plan of up to 4 million vehicles per year for it, according to 30KR. This is an early production capacity strategy, so probably it's going to be a lot more than possibly even 4 million units per year. And this is just one model, it would appear to me, a smaller Model Y. Tesla is transmitting to the industrial chain. 4 million vehicles will be distributed in global factories, of which the super factory in North America will undertake 2 million vehicles. That is going to be the new factory in Mexico. Giga Berlin and Giga Shanghai will be responsible for 1 million vehicles each, respectively. Among the North American factories, the Monterrey factory in Mexico will be the main production capacity of this new, cheaper model. So, are they saying that they will still also make it in perhaps Texas? That's interesting. Wouldn't you just want to mostly just make it in Monterrey factory and just leave the Texas factory and the California factory just to make other vehicles? Obviously, this is all just a rumor, and I wouldn't take any of this as a fact. Things could change rapidly, but we have seen a lot of these rumors actually come true. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Here's the original source. So we are going to Google Translate it and see if there is any other important information we should be aware of. But the biggest takeaway so far is that it's going to be basically a smaller Model Y, which we assumed it would be smaller. And particularly, we also probably thought it would be, well, if you have the most popular vehicle, and that's the Model Y, why do a smaller Model 3 if you know that a smaller Model Y is just going to work better? Oh, but if you actually look at the title here, Tesla's low price models are coming, plural, not just a model, with a planned annual production capacity of 4 million vehicles. Okay, so it appears to me there's something certainly lost in translation. At first it appeared it's just one model. Now it looks like it's multiple models. Okay, so I just read through the whole thing and it's not abundantly clear to me that it is just going to be the Model Y. The title suggests multiple models. The article does not mention anything about multiple models. It only talks about the Model Y, a smaller Model Y. And going through the whole article, there really isn't much, although there is one important thing. They also talked about Giga Berlin getting to 1 million vehicles, getting the permits for that, and then that if Tesla cuts the price in half, obviously that will be a lot of sales. And the most important part is right here in red. In addition, according to 36 Krypton, according to the construction progress of a factory, the mass production of the 150,000 yuan model may not come soon. It's at least a year away, one source said. And then we explained that this way Tesla can prepare the supply chain. There were a few people hoping earlier that perhaps Tesla is going to reveal something in China sooner before the factory in Mexico is done, and maybe Tesla would produce this cheaper priced model in China first. So we can probably safely put that assumption to rest. Not for sure, but I think it's pretty safe to do that at this point. Another important takeaway from this article is, and again, this is just a rumor, but earlier there was a possibility that Tesla would mostly just focus on the North American market first and would just completely flood that market with cheaper electric vehicles because Tesla has most of the market share in the US anyway right now, and most of the cars are still gasoline powered cars. US is behind the EV transition. Europe is a little bit ahead, of course, and China is also ahead of the US, so it might have made some sense to mostly focus on the American market, which it appears Tesla will mostly focus on the American market by producing 2 million in probably Monterrey factory, and then only 1 million in Europe and 1 million in China. And China is a much bigger market overall than the North American and South American markets that Tesla could expand into. Especially when we are talking about cheaper vehicles, China clearly is number one, US is number two, and then we have other countries in Asia where supposedly we could export vehicles from China as well to serve these markets. So it's interesting that Tesla is only planning 1 million vehicles in China to be produced, but in North America, they are planning 2 million, double. But that makes sense because in the US, Tesla gets the $7,500 EV tax credit. On top of that, also battery credits if Tesla manufactures the batteries in the US as well. So it makes sense to focus on that market a lot more because China does not offer anything like that to Tesla. A $25,000 vehicle in the US really costs $17,500 to the consumer. And if you add the additional battery credits that Tesla will get, the margins are even higher. China cannot offer that. So even though technically, let's say, there would be more demand in China, but when you consider these incentives, probably not. Once you really factor in that the competition in China is so much higher than in the US. The US is completely dominated by Tesla. In China, it's a little bit different. Dr. Know-It-All did a video about this today, and he thinks that the smaller Model Y would basically be made out of stainless steel and it would have no paint, and that's certainly a possibility because Tom Zhu said that paint is expensive and he was asked about the next generation vehicle. So that sort of makes sense, but that did not directly confirm that rumor. But certainly we have some evidence pointing in that direction. I think what is quite likely indeed is that it is going to look quite a bit different, probably, from the Model Y. And the reason why I say that is because when Franz with Lars was giving a presentation during the Investor Day, one of them said, when they were presenting the modular manufacturing process, this obviously is not a Model Y. And the way one of them said it, it really made me think it's going to look quite a bit different. It's the way it was said that really made me think that. That is what I am mostly basing my assumption on. It is interesting though that nothing was mentioned about the van that Tesla showed sort of to us under the cover, so maybe that will not be coming as soon. Otherwise, I would think perhaps this would have also been mentioned in this rumor, but it wasn't. Chances are, though, we will soon hear about the van too if it is coming out soon. Let's check other Tesla stock news. The Model Y configurator is now live in Turkey, so that's nice. We have an update on Tesla's legal team. Clearly, Tesla is recruiting right now. The Tesla legal team is building something unique, a full-scale internal litigation and trial team that can handle all aspects of litigation and trial work, including briefings, hearings, discovery, depositions, and trials, completely in-house. Now, we have heard about this last year, but I guess now they are really serious. One more thing that I like about Tesla, and at first when I started my initial businesses that only had, 1 or 2 or 3 people, I didn't really think that it's that important, but as one of my companies grew and culture actually became really important, this actually helps a lot for Tesla. Apply online and see if you qualify for a team that can handle cutting edge and sophisticated legal work itself with no conflicts, because we are one team with one mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Do not undervalue how important this is. To sound, especially the ones that are a little bit more skeptical, it may sound like, oh, that's just a tagline. It just Tesla is just saying this to make themselves look good, and Tesla sort of has to say that. And even if that is true, that actually still really helps, because that statement is actually a true statement. A lot of companies, they have mission statements, they have taglines, and I read them and it's like, don't be evil. Okay. I don't know if you are not evil. I felt like before you said that, I thought maybe you are fine. But now you said that, and now I'm thinking, are you actually evil? I don't know. It doesn't help. Here's a Reuters article reporting on layoffs that Google is working on. And see right here, this being evil is not a strategy. This is backfiring. Tesla, everything that Tesla does, they can really justify, hey, look, we have to lay off people right now because the finances of Tesla would not be great. And if we do not have great finances, we cannot accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. For Tesla to be called out about what it is doing, it has to be really seriously nefarious. But this is just a standard business practice, and their culture is sort of working against them, I guess, here. I mean, that tagline is quite abstract. If you are on one side of politics, then evil to you is the other side. So it's not concrete enough, but with Tesla's mission, whatever you believe in, it's very clear what it is. It has no semantics. Look at GM's mission statement. We stand together to drive a world forward by not transitioning to EVs quickly. They are sort of contradicting themselves. It doesn't help when you do that. So this is just something written here just to have something. And look at Ford's mission statement: to help build a better world where every person is free to move and pursue their dreams. I mean, that would have been fine 100 years ago when we were transitioning to cars for the first time, but that's just outdated. And this is the Tesla stock buying opportunity explained by Elon Musk. My name is Matt Post. Just like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.